Hey guys, the Explorer of Horror here, the Horror Boy, and welcome back to some more reviews. Today, getting to the 1990 classic horror film, Misery, which gets a 7.8 on IMDb, and was directed by Rob Reiner. Now, Rob Reiner is a fantastic filmmaker. I mean, he's made plenty of movies that I'm familiar with. He made Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally. Uh, Newer stuff is stuff like well, he's actually still making movies. His newest movie was called Shock and Awe, and it was 2017. But he also made The Bucket List. He also made didn't he make A Few Good Men? Yeah, he made A Few Good Men too. So he made that. So he's made plenty of movies. I mean, I'm a big fan of The Princess Bride. I remember I seen Stand By Me a long time ago, and I remember really liking it. So yeah, he's a great director. Really big fan of him. And I think also he did a great job with this movie. Now, this is a film that for a long, long time I have been meaning to watch, and a lot of people recommended me to watch this movie. Like, I mean, a lot of people. Heard from everybody that if I haven't seen this movie, I had to see it. And so I sat down and I watched it, and I must say, this is easily one of the best horror films out there. Of course, starring James Caan and Kathy Bates. Big fan of both actors. Kathy Bates is going to be in lots of stuff. American Horror Story, The Waterboy, Fried Green Tomatoes. I think she was in that too. She's a wonderful actress. Big fan of her. And she does like freaking awesome in this movie. I believe she got an Oscar for this movie's performance, which is pretty cool because I thought she did amazing in this movie. Now, Misery's story is very basic. I mean, you have this author who is very famous. He writes this book series about this character named Misery, and he had just written his newest novel, and you find out that he's kind of been out at this retreat up in the mountains for a while writing his story, and it's really snowy up there, and cold, and you really get to feel the atmosphere very well in this movie. And he decides that, since his movie, or not movie, since his book has been written all the way, he is going to go take it back to the city and have it published. And on the way back, he crashes his car in the snow and ends up breaking his legs and becoming unconscious. Then he wakes up in this woman's house, played by Kathy Bates, and she is a fan, and she begins to take care of him. And then you realize there's something really wrong with this character, and that she may seem all sweet and nice at first, but there's more than meets the eye. That's the basic story of the movie, and we'll get into more of the in detail stuff in a second. But I want to say that this is just all around a great horror film. I mean, the music I thought was fantastic, the atmosphere and the coldness, which if you have a horror movie in the snow, I mean, it's really hard to not make the winter atmosphere atmospheric, unless you just don't know how to film it. I mean, pretty much every snowy horror film I've seen has utilized that very well, and I'm a really big fan of that atmosphere. And this movie is just such a suspenseful film. I mean, there are scenes where, you know, this character, James Caan's character, is literally just barely hanging in there, and you feel so bad for his character. And this is one of those really close knit movies where the cast is very small, but you remember everybody in this movie, even the supporting characters. You remember all of them, and they're all wonderful actors too. That doesn't. That's a good thing about this movie too, is they're all wonderful actors. I mean, Richard Farnsworth did a great job. Francis Sturhagen did a pretty good job. I mean, pretty much the rest of the supporting cast did a great job. But of course, our main two actors stole the show and really just is an example of how you use characters and suspense and thrills and how you keep an audience on the edge of their seat. I mean, that is all just absolutely nailed in this movie. And I really enjoyed that. And I thought Kathy Bates, what she did very well with this character Annie, is at first you think she's just the sweetest person ever. She's helping him out. She's like any other fan of a famous person. She's just very nervous and wants him to sign her books and stuff. And, she's just at first a really likable character. and then she'll have moments where she snaps, and you realize there's something there. And when she switches, it's not corny, it's not cheesy, it's legit. Like, you buy it 100% that she will fucking destroy you and kill you. Like, she can be nice one minute, and then the next moment her character is just really, really dark and really, really dangerous and really, really out there. Just such a wonderful performance by Kathy Bates in this movie. And I thought James Caan as well is a great character, and he also did a great job acting wise. You want to know why? Because this character is actually smart. See, horror films sometimes have this issue, especially newer ones, where they make the characters just so dumb, and you're wondering why did they do that? Why? And sometimes it's for cheap scares, like, oh, well, he couldn't do this, so or like the car can't start because she can't find the keys. But get it? It's suspenseful. I'm just like, really? Why would they forget the keys? Why would they forget to get gas? You always wonder that about those moments in horror films. But in this movie, James Caan's character is smart. He's not dumb, and the littlest mistakes he makes stick out to her. And she finds out, and whenever he messes up, she just completely flips on him. There's a moment in the movie that I thought was just brutal where she takes, and this is a spoiler alert, but this is like a 30-year-old movie. So if you haven't seen, yeah, 30, it's a 30-year-old movie now. It's about 30 years old, so if you haven't seen this yet, then just see it. It's great. I know I didn't see it either until now, but just go see it. It's really good. But the moment where she breaks his legs is just such a, because he's already been almost healed at that point. He's been in there for a while, and when his legs get broken, it's just a really effective scene. The acting, the emotion of the scene, it's just brutal and scary and creepy. It's just a really well done moment. And the way that James Caan handles the situation, he doesn't just flip out and because he knows she can walk, she can move, she has weapons, she has the upper hand. So he can't just sit there and scream and do all that, because she'll just straight up kill him. So he plays it smart. He waits it out. He tries to look around the house and finds creepy things. Like, she's a really obsessed fan of his, and I really thought that was really well done as well. Um, I just like those moments where the smallest things will set off the Annie character and she'll just flip out. Like, there's this moment where he can't type on this paper because it smears. So she gets angry at him and breaks the typewriter almost. And she goes to the city, and the cop is also a very smart cop. But also, I kind of wondered why he would get killed by her. I was just kind of like, what? But he hears that the Paul Sheldon character is in the house, but he ends up getting shot by a shotgun. So they made him smart, but at the same time, like, well, why would you not be more careful? But it is what it is, whatever. But yeah, man, I this is just a very straightforward horror movie with some great suspense, wonderfully filmed. I think, like I said, the director of this movie, Rob Reiner, is amazing, and he did some awesome movies I've seen before as well. And in this movie, he also does do good as far as direction goes. I mean, you got some fantastic shots. Really enjoy the atmosphere of the movie. I really love the music. The music brings a lot of dread to the film. The acting is great. The performances are well done. They're breathtaking. They really are. They're just really well done performances. And suspense, too, is nailed. And it's a really engaging story, and it's a really creepy story because it's just a creepy idea of you being, like, imagine if you were somebody famous and this obsessed fan kidnapped. Like, that's just a creepy idea, and you not being able to go anywhere because of the legs being broken. It's just like, it adds so many layers to that story. It's just very well done. And I really enjoyed this movie a lot. And I just like certain moments where, like I said, James Caan is playing kind of the mind games with her. He doesn't really want to act too suspicious. So, like, he'll, just kind of shrug it off, be like, yeah, it's okay. But he knows something's wrong with her. And I really enjoyed that. There's not much else to say about, and this is a very short review compared to my other ones, but it's just very well made. It's well directed. It's well acted. Has great music. Has some just wonderful aspects to it that makes it a wonderful film. And overall, I really did enjoy it. I had to give it probably a solid. I'm gonna give it a solid 9 out of 10, or maybe even a 10 out of 10. It's a really really good movie. But yeah, that's a quick review of Misery. It's a really well done movie. I mean, the acting, the characters. There are certain moments in the movie that really creep me out, and the moment where she makes him write his new novel, and you killed Misery. How could you? Bring her back. The new novel, bring her back. And as he finishes his new novel, he burns it because she burned his old novel. And that ending fight between him and her is just so. They build that up so much to where when the final battle happens, you're like, yeah, man, go. They make his character just, you root for him. You feel bad for him. And he gets that moment to kind of rise up, and him and her fight, and he uses a typewriter to kill her. It's just a very well done scene. And the cops, of course, get there, and he ends up writing his book. And he thinks because he even mentions, because at the end of the movie, him and his wife are at this restaurant. He even admits like he sees Annie everywhere because he sees fans everywhere. And he'll see Annie, being a waitress, but then he'll snap out of it somebody else. And it's a very well done moment there. But yeah, Misery is just a classic horror film that I definitely recommend. I'm going to go 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. It's a wonderful movie. But anyways, guys, not much else I can say about this movie. It's classic. It's well made. And if you haven't seen it yet, I recommend it. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Quick review for you guys tonight. Just really love this movie, and it's great and well made. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching my quick little review on Misery. Hope you guys enjoyed. And let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below, if you like it or not, and your ratings. Let me know all that stuff. And make sure to leave a like and just subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching the review. Explorer of Horror is out. Bye, guys. Have a good night.